Hey, Angie Nelson here from theworkathomewife.com. Today we're going to be talking about a really important subject, and that is how to avoid work-at-home scams. Now, a lot of people come to me and they're usually in either one of two camps. They either think that everything is a scam when it comes to work-at-home jobs, or they are willing to give almost anything a shot in order to make the big bucks without giving it much thought or kind of avoiding those red flags at all costs. So today we're going to be talking about what some of those red flags are and why they should indicate that a potential job is actually a scam as opposed to something legitimate. And please make sure you stay to the end of the video to find out how you can learn more about some great jobs that we know to be legitimate that you can apply to with confidence. Now, the first red flag that we're talking about today is the one that usually gets people into a lot of trouble. And that is what I like to call the stink test. When you are looking for a work-at-home job, you're going to run into a lot of things that really sound too good to be true. And that should be your first indication of a scam. If there is a job that you come across that is really easy work that requires minimal brain power, it's just kind of going through the motion, and it sounds like it's going to be super simple, but the job is going to pay you a whole lot of money, it's probably a scam. There's just no reason to offer a lot of these entry-level positions with a really big hourly rate. There's a lot of competition in the online world, and a lot of these companies today are able to outsource some of these really entry-level tasks overseas. So there's really not any reason for them to offer something like data entry with a $75 per hour hourly rate. Now, another thing that you want to keep an eye open for, something we're running into right now, is these supposed employers asking you to open an account somewhere in order to receive payment. I've heard of them asking you to open an account and maybe buy a gift card at iTunes, or maybe do a wire transfer or something like this. It's really fishy. This isn't something that you would run into with a regular, traditional employer. So it should raise a red flag to you if you're running into it with a potential online job. Why would you need to open an iTunes account to get paid? There's really no reason for it, and it should be a signal of a scam to you. Now, the reason that this gets people into trouble in most cases is because we seem to see an influx recently of these potential employers wanting to do interviews on things like Facebook Messenger or in some other kind of a chat situation. And what happens in these instances is these turn into a really high pressure situation. And they're trying to make you do these things before you have the opportunity to give it a second chance, or give it some extra thought, or maybe do some more research into who you're applying with. That should be a big red flag to you. If you are in one of these positions where somebody is putting a lot of pressure on you to give some personal information, or to open an account somewhere, or to do something else, and it has to be right now, that should be a red flag. And it should also raise a red flag to you if you're getting one of these people contacting you that's wanting to do an interview by Facebook Messenger or a chat box somewhere where you're not really knowing who you're speaking with. And why would they be conducting an interview like this? If a company is going to want to conduct an interview with you, it's going to either be on the phone, or in many cases these days we're seeing it being a video interview where they want to chat with you face to face. I don't trust chat boxes, and neither should you. And the reason that you shouldn't trust those chat boxes is because you don't have any idea who you're speaking with. Anybody can set up, a chat box or a Facebook page or a Facebook profile and say that they're working for a company when you have no way to know for sure. And that is something that should really be a red flag for you if these people are trying to hide their identity. If they're sending you to a website to apply, but there's no contact information on that website, There's no physical address. There's no phone number. Those are all things that should, make your gut instincts give you a little bit of a red flag there that you need to proceed with caution. You should always have a way to contact a company. You should always be able to do some extra research on them. In many cases, that's going to be coming from that contact information that you're able to find on their website, so you know that they do have a physical location somewhere. Now, a big scam that I'm seeing a lot in my community right now is a mystery shopping scheme. What's happening is that these people are receiving money orders or cashier's check in the mail from companies that they haven't heard of or done any work for, and it's coming with a list of instructions that they need to follow. And the first thing they need to do is go cash this money order cashier's check. Well, if you haven't done any work for a company, they're not going to send you a blank check. That's just plain and simple the way that it is. Because how are they going to guarantee that you're actually going to do the work? No legitimate company is going to send you just a huge $1,000 check in hopes that you're going to perform some type of task. It's not going to happen. If you're receiving a check or money order in the mail, that should be a huge red flag for you. In most cases, what these companies want you to do is go cash that cashier's check or money order, and then you're supposed to buy something, and in most cases, you're supposed to send back the remainder of the money to them. Well, what happens is that by the time that your bank finds out that this money order cashier's check is fraudulent, you've already sent money back to these people, and those people are gone. And now you're on the line for this check that you cashed. And you're also going to be out any money that you sent to them because you're going to be responsible. You're the one who cashed the check. Your bank's either going to take it out of your account, and even if you don't have an account, you're probably going to need to give this check cashing place your ID in order to cash the check, and they're going to sue you for that money. And it's then going to be your responsibility to turn around and sue whoever it is that sent you this check. But the problem is that person's gone. They probably sent this to you under a fake name or a fake company address, and you're never going to be able to track that person down. But you're going to be on the line for whatever amount it is that you cashed in the first place. So don't fall into this. If you don't know who the company is and you're all of a sudden receiving checks in the mail out of nowhere, don't cash them. You can do some investigation online to find out who it is, or take it right back to your post office and let them know that you've received this money and you don't know where it came from. They'll be able to help you out with as far as getting it tracked down and reporting it if it is actually a fraud. Now, some things that you can do to protect yourself from these work-at-home scams is do your research. There's a lot of research, and reviews that are available online. All you have to do is open up your Google search and start checking out the companies that you're applying to. You can check the Better Business Bureau. Another place that I love to check is Glassdoor. Glassdoor allows the independent contractors and employees of a company to leave their own reviews about their experiences working with the company. Now, when we are talking about reviews, I do want you to take them with a grain of salt. One thing you always need to keep in mind with online reviews is that happy people don't usually go out of their way to leave them. Usually the people that are complaining are going to be, people that are just doing that. They're complaining. They have a complaint against the company, so they're making sure that someone else is listening to them. And a lot of times what we see with these reviews are really personal things, individual experiences. And we're all unique, so our experiences are going to be different. Maybe they had a problem with their supervisor. Maybe they didn't get along, they had different personalities, so they didn't mesh well, in a working situation. Maybe the hours weren't good for them, or the scheduling didn't work out. Those are all things that maybe they weren't good for that person, but maybe they'll work out perfectly for you. So when you're looking for reviews online, I want you to make sure that you're not looking for excuses. I know we get in that position, oftentimes in our head where we're scared of moving forward, so we kind of look for any excuse we can to not have to take that next step, that's outside of our comfort zone. Do your research, read the reviews, but always keep in the back of your mind that that's one person's experience. Your experience could be totally different. Now, if you are running across those red flags, of people not getting paid for work that's been performed, or maybe there's some other, big serious issue, definitely keep those in mind when you're moving forward. But if it's just someone's, personality conflict or a scheduling conflict or things like that are unique to one person, please just take them with a grain of salt. Another thing that you can do is make sure that you're keeping your job search to legitimate sites. I've spoken about Flex Jobs in several videos. That's a very legitimate job board in order to source leads. They do all the research for you. They make sure all the positions and the companies are legitimate, and they do have some kind of flex capacity. So that is a good place to keep an eye on for leads. It is a paid job board, but they do make sure everything is on the up and up, so you can just get in there and apply to jobs with total confidence. Now, those are just a few of the scams that we see quite frequently online, and a few red flags that you should watch out for. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of totally legitimate companies out there that are looking for work-at-home agents. So don't think that everything that you see online is going to be a scam. It's not. It's just a matter of doing your research and also listening to your gut. That's something that we should all be doing. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If someone's trying to force you, back you into a corner and you have to make a decision right now, that's going to be a red flag as well. And also, if something just seems fishy, if they want you to sign up for some weird account somewhere, or if they are wanting you to perform an interview over something like a Facebook Messenger or some other social platform messenger, those are things that should be red flags. You should always be able to take your time and do your research, and that's something that companies should be really open and transparent about. They should let you know who they are, who you'll be working for, what kind of work you'll be performing, and what you can expect to be paid. Those are all things that you should be able to get some information on before you go ahead, give out any personal information. Now, if you have any further questions about scams, or maybe you want to share your experience with one that you've ran into, feel free to leave me a comment below. I'll also leave you some additional links to some more information and where you can do some additional research in the description below. Now, if you liked today's video, please give it a like and a share, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you'll get notification of the next video. Until then, I wish you best of luck in your work-at-home job search.